Yo, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy Nisi coming back with another bullseye with tutorial here today on the channel. So I wanted to talk to you guys about a wild card outside of the box way I like to use channel strips sometimes once in a while, and that's actually on my master fader to juice up my whole mix. And let's see where I got this idea from. Let's not waste no time and let's get to listening to a little bit of the music and see how you can apply this strategy. And it's a wild card. It's something that's a little bit outlandish. It's kind of like a wild left hook in the middle of the 8th round that knocks somebody out the blue. So let's look.
That emotional, I just wanna hold you. And lately you've been getting mad, I cannot, control you. And if you ever feeling sad, you know what it is you do to me. Your love give me that dopamine. God didn't make you perfect to me. Baby, don't you get like that emotional, I just wanna hold you.
Okay, so growing up, a lot of the times, my favorite records were actually made by guys like Dr.Dre, and Dr. Dre, he was very well known for the way he was playing that board, the way he would take a lot of these hip hop songs and he would push it into the board. The board is kind of like a piece of elastic. The more that you push into it, the more it kind of conforms to the music, and the more it kind of conforms to the music and gives a kind of like a unique sound. It's kind of like a human characteristic. You know what I mean? If you go up to somebody and you act like you're gonna hit them, they're gonna give you, they're gonna flinch. There's a reaction to it. A lot of the times, them digital plugins, especially in the very primitive form, I think now they're getting a little bit better. But those very first plugins, people always used to complain that when you stress test them, when you put them under that pressure, they didn't turn into a diamond. They didn't give you a diamond reaction. They just remained as a piece of coal, just a nasty, cold, lifeless thing. So that's the thing. I got inspiration from Dr. Dre. I heard he used to always be pushing his mixes into the SSL board, and that's how his mixes had all this grit and this impact. So I thought to myself, what's a great plugin that emulates something like that? And I came upon this idea right here to use the Brainworks console E. A lot of the plugin alliance Brainworks channel strips are so dope because they're actually modeling like that circuitry. You feel me? They're modeling that VCA circuitry of the board, that drive function. So let's look at how I was able to juice up this mix a little bit by using something outside of the box, outside of the blue, channel strip on my master fader.
That emotional, I just wanna hold you. And lately you've been getting mad, I cannot, control you. And if you ever feeling sad, you know what it is you do to me. Your love give me that dopamine. God didn't make you perfect to me. Baby, don't you get like that emotional, I just wanna hold you. And lately you've been getting mad, I cannot, control you. And if you ever feeling sad, you know what it is.
So essentially what I'm doing here is I heard my mix and I said, man, this is an R&B song, and that kick kind of feels like it needs a little bit more oomph. So I don't have the 2-track stems. How can I approach this situation? Generally, when I like to beef up my kick and bass, I like to use something like a clipper, specifically here. But I was, using a bunch of different clippers and I didn't like how they sounded. So I said, F it. And I actually used the, the Brainworks console E as a clipper. So the thing about a clipper is that, it can reshape the waveform. And a lot of times those clippers, if you use it artistically, they will generate distortion. So listen to how I'm getting more distortion out of this plugin, and it's actually beefing up my kick. It's beefing up the low end. Listen to it with and without.
That emotional, I just wanna hold you. And lately you've been getting mad, I cannot, control you. And if you ever feeling sad, you know what it is you do to me. Your love give me that dopamine. God didn't make you perfect to me. Baby, don't you get like that emotional, I just wanna hold you. And lately you've been getting mad, I cannot, control you. And if you ever feeling sad, you know what it is you do to me. Your love give me that dopamine. God didn't make you perfect to me. Baby, don't you that emotional, I just wanna hold you. And lately you've been getting mad, I cannot, control you. And if you ever feeling sad, you know what it is you do to me. Your love give me that dopamine. God didn't make you.
Just listen to the actual shape of the kick. It feels like if the kick was like a steel can, like a can of tomato soup. It feels like without the saturation, it feels like it's an empty can that can just plop. You know how when you have a soda can, you finish drinking, you just knock it, boom, and it just just goes on the floor or whatever. It kind of feels like an empty can. But I'm using distortion, generating distortion to make it be a can that is full of soda, or to make it a can full of tomato soup. I'm using distortion to make it bigger. So what I did here is I pushed the input gain a little bit, and I played around with the TDH threshold. I brought in a little bit of boosting EQ just for the top, because I know that my seesaw, the human ear works like a seesaw, right? If you add more low end, it makes like the high frequencies dampen. If you add more high frequencies, it kind of makes the low end sound smaller. That's how the human ear works. It works like a seesaw. You're trying to always constantly balance it, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a camera too. Your eyes, like it's trying to always autofocus and shit like that, right? So the main thing about it is I just added a little bit of like top end, and I did like do like a little bit of I was doing something really crazy, really different here. I just did like a little mid-range duck, because I used the overload to generate more distortion. So it's like my low end actually started to get bigger. There's actually starting to be more of everything in the low end, and that's why I cut it off a little bit. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video that I have here today for y'all. This is like an exotic, a different outside of the box trick I wanted to show y'all. Y'all should try it out, and make sure that when you do this, you put it on the analog mode, because that's modeling a little bit of that circuitry, and it's not gonna be exactly like Dr. Dre, but still it's the same idea. And maybe you have a clipper that you always use and it's not sounding good. You might want to try to use one of those Brainworks console channel strips and drive your mix into it a little bit, and kind of like let it reshape the way the bass and the kick sounds, especially if you only got the 2-track. So this is pretty much the end of the video that I have here for you guys today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Try this trick out. Let me know, like, how did it sound? Did it help it sound a little bit better? Did it sound a little bit worse? Is it something that you feel like you could use consistently or once in a while? So I just want to say thanks a lot for being a great part of my YouTube family. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate y'all now. Peace.